Memphis, 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 Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another summer edition of Grizz 901. I'm your host, Daniel Greer, and we have a fun-filled show for you, an episode I didn't think I would actually be on, if we're telling the truth. But then we looked at the schedule. Okay, I looked at the schedule, and I found out that I'm going to be on vacation, on fall break with the family, and there's no reason to do this show on fall break, except for it was the first post-game halftime show we're going to do for the preseason next week. So make sure you stay tuned. Nate's going to be he's going to be driving the bus of the post-game halftime show. And it's honestly great because we're talking about the Bucks and the Grizzlies. It's going to be a fun game. I don't know if Dame plays, but I would imagine with the less games there are now within the preseason, I expect them to at least play a little bit. And so unless it's on a weird back-to-back, I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't think anybody's actually looked at the schedule for the preseason, except for the fact that we know there's a game Tuesday. So make sure you tune in. We're going to go live at halftime. So Nate's going to be driving the bus for us, halftime show, and then we'll be back here on the 25th of October. So 2 Tuesdays from now, we will not be here. Just wait for the Wednesday, the next game, which is opening night. We're going to have our first show. So a lot to happen, a lot to come, because you know what? Guess who else is coming? Too soon. Paul? There he is. Wayne's World. What's up,
Wayne's
Nate?
World. That was pretty good, dude. I'm not going to lie. You did a good job of remembering a bunch of stuff right there for a guy who just got done coaching a soccer championship or something like that for the Redbirds, not
No,
Red Rockets, not Orange
Redbirds
Creamers.
weren't tonight.
Redbirds. Oh, okay.
It was the Orange Creamers tonight. Big win to end the season.
Let's go. No, that was good, man. Yeah, that was a lot to remember. I for sure don't know the preseason schedule. Honestly, I barely remember media day was yesterday. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of catch up these days.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So tonight's episode is going to be all about media day. We're going to be talking a little bit of what the guys discussed. There is little to no planning done for this show tonight for the simple fact that I forgot that I was going to have to miss next week due to the family vacation. And so I hopped on this show, so Nate didn't have to go alone. And so he's going to actually do the show next week. And so there's been little to no planning. So we're just going to kind of go off the cuff a little bit. But just so everybody is clear, we're going to have this show, right? Hold on. Wait, I think we missed an episode. Okay, so we have this week, right, Nate? So we have this week, and then we have next week is the first preseason game, correct?
Right.
And then we have the 17th. 17th is our prediction show, just so we're all on the same page. It's going to be the prediction show. And so make sure you kind of tune in on that because we will be here. We will be here live. And so make sure you tune in. So I might be a little bit quiet. I don't know about you, Nate. I just turned myself up. Can you hear me better now?
You're good. It's probably my headphones. I'm having a little trouble hearing everything right now, but
Okay.
that's the way tech's going today.
All right. So a little bit about the media day. Let's get into just very basics. Were you shocked that Ja was actually there at media day and the little capacity he was?
No, he didn't do any talking to the media, did he?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. No, I wasn't surprised he was there. I would have been very surprised if he would have ended up talking and like doing any kind of real media availability within that. But I wasn't surprised he was there. And I think, honestly, that's one of the biggest pieces of news I took away from media day was that he is indeed going to be able to be with the team. And that's something that I think we talked about, we thought would be the case. But having it confirmed that the league is going to allow him to be with the team, he just can't be at games, is a really big deal and really important for him to be able to, I guess for lack of a better word, rehabilitate, recover, re-enter great with the team really well. So I was trying to think of the right word, and I couldn't think of the one word, so I just used 5 words to try and sum up the one word I couldn't come up with. But I think that's a huge piece of news. It's really great for Ja. It's really great for the Grizzlies and for us fans.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if he was going to be there. So that was the biggest thing, is the fact that actually Ja was there. And the reason is getting that news was huge, for the fact that the ramp up time on the Grizzlies side of things usually is so slow, and they're very meticulous about ramping guys up to get them back. The fact that he's going to be with the team doing everything the team is doing, except for going into games and sitting on the bench. He can't do public actual practices, but for the most part, he's going to be playing, right? He's going to be there in the gym with the guys. He's going to be playing. He's going to be practicing. He's just not going to be playing in actual real games. He's not going to be playing in preseason games either. So realistically, that first game back, national television, I would imagine TNT. Is that right? TNT versus New Orleans out in New Orleans. It's going to be a great game. But I also, and there's nothing like being in a game and having real game reps. And so no matter what you're doing in practice, it's going to be hard to get those. But I think he plays. He's going to start. He's going to play. I just don't know what, like 24 minutes maybe. That's probably what I would do. I'd do 6-minute runs.
Yeah, it'll be low minutes. He'll be playing catch up with a lot of guys who are already in game shape. But I mean, 1, it'll be awesome when that happens. But 2, the most important thing I think is just from a mental standpoint, him being able to be with the team. Like from a physical standpoint, being able to be with the team obviously is important in its own right. But him being able to be with the team just for his mental and emotional state is huge, right? Because we all know what they say about isolating, and I'm sure from personal experience, we know what it's like when you isolate. It's just not healthy, right? And so being able to be with the team, not be isolated, primo.
All right, we're talking about Ja, right? So let's talk about one thing that I think is the most important thing to talk about with Ja. What do you think that is? If you had to just pick my brain, where am I going?
Free throws. No, I would say him being able to get his, as Derrick Rose said, mentals together.
Yeah, not even close. I'm talking about his hair. What's going on, man?
I knew you were
like
going to
the
get something
hair
stupid.
is like down to his shoulders. He's gonna be slow. I'm just kidding. Like, what is happening?
It's not football, Daniel. He can't get tackled by his hair, so it's. I'm not worried about it. He's just doing his best, Jimmy Butler. It's fine.
Dude, his hair's getting so long. Do you like the look? Longer than shorter?
I don't care.
Matter to you.
What am I talking about? Listen, he'll do it up in his hairstyle. It'll look awesome. It's his signature hairstyle. It'll be dope. That's that. I could care less. You can't get tackled by it. I don't
Have
care.
you ever had hair that long?
No, dude.
Listen, I'm just asking the questions. Okay, so I have kids, right? So I have kids, and they always complain about certain types of hair for the simple fact that it's a little heavy, right? Like my oldest daughter's hair is heavy. So when she gets her hair up in the ponytail, sometimes it's a little heavy. So my thinking is, I'm thinking from a girl dad here completely. Dude, it's got to bother you. Like on top of your head, wherever, like what is he going to put it in a low pony? I don't care what he does, but I'm just thinking just in general, it's got to be so heavy on him. Like whatever. It's his choice. I
hate this, but I know exactly what you mean. And you're not wrong. Like anytime my hair's gotten even remotely long,
right. It's
like,
just weird. Yeah.
It's annoying. I like a buzz cut. I mean, I have sort of almost like a high and tight-ish look right now, but yeah, my hair doesn't get long. It gets bushy. I squirrel tail. It doesn't get good long. So yeah, I don't do that, but I know what you're saying. I just, if Ja likes it.
I'm not saying it's going to affect his game. I'm not even talking about it. I'm talking about just a general human. Is it not going to bother you to have that
annoy me?
That
but
palm tree
it clearly doesn't annoy him.
All right, so we're gonna get off the job a little bit, but two things, and guys that I was watching. And you know what? I'm glad I got us off a little bit. This show is all about getting off the beaten path.
Usually that's my job, though.
I know. Weird. I'm taking it over. All right, so let's talk about two guys, and I want to talk about some target practice. Right? I'm going to call this target practice, and the reason is because we have two guys going at it. and they're going to set what they're going to put up, whatever on the line. And that is our guy, Desmond Bain and Luke Kennard. They're already starting the talk trash. They're already, our flamethrower duo is ready. Are you excited about the camaraderie, but also the competition between these dudes? And would you pay to see a 3-point contest between these guys?
Between Bain and Tripp?
No, Bain and Kennard. Dude, are you paying
Bain
attention?
and Kennard. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Jaron. Yeah, I would pay to see that 3-point contest. Yeah. For sure. But it'd have to be like multiple rounds.
Right.
I want some obstacle courses thrown in there. I want to have
Steve-O,
like you got to run through a Steve-O screen to get to your ball. Like I want to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear, somebody was in the media and they asked Desmond Bain, I think it was Drew Hill to be exact, and they asked him a little bit of how's it going with the competition with Luke Kennard, and he just kept saying he's down, and so you can already tell these guys are going at it. We saw Luke Kennard, he had the higher 3-point percentage at the end of the season, and I think that was a sticking point with Desmond Bain, because all he kept saying is that was last year, man. We're not talking about last year. We're talking about this year. And so it's a friendly competition, but I think it's awesome to have those two dudes kind of going at it throughout the season, because what that's going to do is usually competition, you're going to make it yourself rise. But the fact that they're actually having fun doing it is even better. Like they're not mad at each other. They're literally, it's a healthy competition of, hey, I'm going to shoot better than you.
It's a whole Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner training camp thing, right? You're going to make each other better doing that. And I'm sure there's going to be some things that Luke Kennard does that Desmond Bain goes, I got to learn how to do that. And there's going to be some things that Luke Kennard does that, or Desmond Bain does that Luke Kennard goes, I got to learn how to do that. Right.
Right.
And so they're going to learn from each other, and it's going to be, it's awesome. It's just fun to have two of the top 5 3-point shooters in the league on your team, if not better than that. Like, it's just awesome.
All right. Now, would you say they're two of the best shooters in all of the galaxy? Because that's what Dat Boy be hooping kept talking about, is he is the third guy. So is this more of Dylan Brooks saying, hey, I'm the LeBron, whatever? Or is this like he's having fun with it? Or do you think he's being serious as can be because he thinks he's as good of a shooter as Desmond Bain and Luke Kennard?
I think he's a goofy dude. I think he actually thinks he's an awesome shooter. I also think, based off what we've seen from him before, he's just going to take every opportunity to be goofy. I would guess he's a Star Wars nerd, and he's excited about the Ahsoka season finale tonight, as am I.
You think?
You can see with my Tatooine National Park hat.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to understand, because you can't identify with us Star Wars nerds that enjoy life. Quite frankly.
Is it still going on?
Oh yeah, Dad.
So they haven't all died. Like how long? Like how many times? Until like they eventually all die.
The Force lives in all of us, Daniel.
But
it will continue to go on.
Can the Force not be with us anymore? Like, let it go, man.
No, it can't. And it's definitely with Jake LaRavia, and that's why he's one of the best shooters in the galaxy.
Do you think he's a Star Wars junkie, and this is where that's coming from, or you think he's just being goofy and saying galaxy instead of the world?
I think he's a goofy nerd. I think he's just a goofy nerd, which is awesome. I identify with that. I resemble that remark.
Wow. Yeah, I think he is goofy, and I think he was having so much fun with it. And honestly, that's what you have to do with Media Day. The guys talked about, honestly, dreading it most of the time, being excited, but dreading it because you're literally trying to discuss and try to explain how you're feeling. Like in a relationship in general, and I am bad about this just in life. I can't explain exactly how I'm feeling with my words until like usually after like an interview or after the conversation when I'm apologizing to my wife about what I was trying to actually say. Okay. I didn't mean it that way. That's usually me. But I have a hard time. And I think that's what Jaron said. He's like, it's hard to explain how you're feeling and actually talk through the question or the topic. And so a lot of times, it's kind of a struggle, and especially for some guys, it is a struggle.
Yeah, but I think Jake Laravich is goofy, and he wanted to somehow say the word galaxy. So he did. I think that's exactly what he wanted. That was his media day goal, and he accomplished it.
All right. So another guy who surprised me a little bit, and that was Derrick Rose. All right. So for one, first things first, did you pitch a tent when you saw him in a Grizzlies uniform?
No.
That's good. I don't think you're lying. So what surprised me with the conversation with Derrick Rose is it came off as a dude that's been there, done that. And that's every time that he was speaking, what he was talking about, honestly, it wasn't groundbreaking, but we all saw who that dude was when they were going for a championship with the Tigers. And he wasn't that type of a guy. And we haven't really got to know Derrick Rose, the man, since he left. And so getting him back and actually having him he's now a father. He's a husband, recently. But he is a more mature guy. And that's really what came off to me is he was just a guy that was kind of like been there, done that.
Well, and that's the point.
Right.
Like, Derrick Rose is an awesome player. I have been on the camp of he didn't play all that much last season for the Knicks, but when he played, he was productive. I don't think him not playing last season was as much a factor of whether or not he could be productive. I thought it was more so, hey, you've got guys like Jalen Brunson and quickly. You've got all these guys that are younger. Miles McBride, who I've been big on since he was at West Virginia, is there, and he earned some playing time last year. You've got a youth movement that you knew was more the future than Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose can come in and contribute for a contender. I have no doubt in my mind. So that's awesome. But outside of that, the point was to bring in a guy who had been there, done that, and is here to talk business.
Yeah.
And he's here to play business. And that's what you want for Ja Morant. Listen, I don't care how much money you spend. I don't care if they win 30 games this year. I will care when they're losing those games. But
watch your mouth.
If you turn around in the year after, him and Marcus Smart have gotten Ja Morant turned around and then back into being the guy he can be and being a superstar that is stable and ready to go run the league. Dude, that's a win for the franchise. And so you wanted a guy that had been there, done that, been an MVP, been that next guy up, all that stuff to come in. And it was awesome to see him come in there and then be pretty frank about it, to be honest.
Yeah, he was. And I think that's what you have to appreciate is he was the guy who was honest. He was very thoughtful in his response. And I think that's, that takes a lot because sometimes you can that's literally it's been vulnerable and letting your guard down. And that's very hard to do, especially with media, for the simple fact that they might take what you say out of context and they might run with it because you slip up, say the wrong thing. So you have to be a little vulnerable. You got to kind of just peel the curtain back a little bit and be that guy. But I was glad that he was that dude. But let's talk about his gameplay because I think this is going to be very important for this team. Do you expect him to be a backup point guard for the first 25 games?
Yeah.
Minutes wise, what are you thinking?
I think there will be some time with him and Marcus Smart on the floor. So in sort of the same role you would have Ja at point and then put Marcus Smart at 3, Dylan's old spot. I don't know minutes wise. I would say probably 25-ish if I had to guess. Not maybe 20, but I expect him to get a bunch of minutes.
Sheesh. All right. So what my expectations are, he's a 16-minute guy. Max. I don't expect him to play more than 16. Dude,
I think 20 to 25.
That's 8 minutes crossing over the team, right? The last 4, the first 4 of the splits, right? So that's what I'm talking about. 16. He might if he's feeling good, you're going to go with him for his 18. If he's not looking good, honestly, a back-to-back, you're probably playing him 12. Like, I think that his average is going to be 16. Listen, I'm not sure if you saw, huh?
How old is Derrick Rose?
He's not as old as I am. I'm washed.
Well, yeah.
I can still out hoop you.
Thanks for that.
Guarantee that.
Yeah, thanks for all of that.
Derrick Rose. He is loading. I hope this is what we have to look forward to this
Derrick
year.
Rose regen season loading.
Nothing's happening. All right, here we go. All right, so Wikipedia. By the way, I've actually done the numbers. He had very similar numbers when he actually played the same amount of minutes. Not this past year, the year before that, as Tyus Jones did. Okay, so if he plays roughly 18 minutes or 18 to 22 minutes, I think is what the average was, right around there, he's getting pretty much the same numbers. He was born in 88, so he's 4 years younger than me, so he's 35.
35. Okay.
Spry.
I'm going to knock it down
35.
to 18 to 20. Sorry. For some reason, I did not think he was that old. But I'll say 18 to 20. I just see him playing 20 minutes-ish a night because I think he crosses over time with Marcus Smart.
No.
25 was ambitious of me. that was high, but I think 18 to 20 is the right range.
He's 16. I'm just okay. So that's the first 25 games. After that, do you see the number backing down? Do you see him falling out of the rotation? What do you see envision for Derrick Rose after the first 25?
He won't fall out of the rotation, but his minutes will go down because those minutes, the backup point guard minutes, I feel like will mostly end up being Marcus Smart. And they will work Derrick Rose in when they need to make sure both Smart and Ja have an adequate amount of rest. But outside of that, they're going to want Smart or Ja running the offense, I think. And typically it's going to be Ja on there with Smart. They'll stack their subs so that Smart's able to rest and then Ja's able to rest and then probably bring them on to close again. All this is up in the air depending on what actually works and what the coaching staff sees. But if I had to guess, that's going to be what happens. And then Rose's minutes will go down to more like 8 to 12 after that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm on board. And honestly, all we're doing is guessing, right? We have no clue, but we have to talk through the actual details. And my thinking is he goes down from 16 to 12 because you have to add in the minutes somewhere. But if you're listen, I don't care if you go down to 8 from 20, there's still not enough minutes for Ja Morant, right? Because he's playing 30 plus. So that takes away from somebody else. And that's the key factor in all of this. Minutes there's only so many minutes in a game. I don't know if anybody has actually done the study, but I did it last year and I found out that there's only so many minutes. Like there's like literally it's the same amount every game. That's what I was told, at least. That's what the book told me. So like you can't just add more minutes. But maybe.
What do you mean? What do you mean we're guessing, Daniel? We are Grizzlies experts. We can pull out our best Colin Cowherd. Derrick Rose should start for the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant should be traded for spare parts at this point.
Please tell me that didn't happen.
No, but
okay,
I
God.
Would not be surprised if it did. Also, if anyone clips that, Colin Cowherd impression. To be clear.
That was a terrible Colin Cowherd. But, hey.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great, but the substance was great.
I could see it in your eyes.
The voice wasn't great.
Colin Cowherd.
I was trying. The big crazy eyes.
Yeah, the big crazy eyes. All right, let's get to another guy because we don't want to spend too long on everybody else. So I got one guy coming up, and I'm going to give him a little bit of a salute.
I knew who you were bringing up.
My guy, Aquaman, busting out the Wiseacre.
Right.
Cherry it's pronounced Irusu. No idea. It's a rice logger. Listen, it was the mystery flavor in the mystery pack. I don't know. Anyway, so let's talk about Aquaman. First of all, he said that he didn't know about the sandals, the giveaway sandals. They're Aquaman sandals, whatever the Steven Adams night is. It's got his face. I think it's got Aquaman on one of them. True or false? He didn't know about the sandals.
True.
Really?
Yes, true. I don't think he's the type of guy that would get up there and lie to be humble. I think he would just be like, yeah. And that would be his answer to it if he already knew about it. I think if he says he didn't know, he didn't know. By the way, I will pay for your tickets if you show up and get me a pair of those Aquaman slides. I will pay for your tickets to go for me.
And that goes to anybody. If anybody's listening to this, I think it's open. Speaking of that, we have some other stuff that I have in the works, stuff that me and Nate were actually talking about today, trying to get some fun things for the show. If you have anything for the post-game shows, it's going to be less of this. We're going to be talking about real games, but we have some fun giveaways, but some things we're going to do with guests when they come on the show. Our goal is to have every now and then a guest on the show. Maybe, 10 to 15 minute spots, nothing crazy. They're not going to be planned out too far in advance outside of, some major guests that we want to have on. But for the most part, we're going to have a good rotation of our crew. It's going to be me and Nate a lot. Funaki Fridays. And then on the weekends, I will be off. Nate will be on one of the days, I believe. But we're going to kind of have it, we're going to piece it together. But there will be some other faces that you see on the show. And when we do have guests, we're going to try to do some giveaways. And so I don't want to give too much on that yet because it's still very new from the conversations that I've had so far. So don't want to get into too many details, but it will revolve around the show, predictions, and then you got to make sure you come on and actually find out who the winner was. We're going to announce the winner on the following show. So we're going to have our guests have a little prediction. And then after that, the next show, whatever they predict, whatever game it was, that show will actually give away the winner. So if you're not here, if you're not on YouTube, so if you are listening in the audio, thank you. But if you're not listening live, you got to make sure you tune in. And then for our audio people, we're going to make sure we hook you up. We'll give one just for the audio listeners every now and then. Just kind of help out everybody. All right. So listen, I've kind of gone through the rotation a lot. We've hit on Ja. We've hit on Bane and Luke Kennard. Hit on Dat Boy B. Hoopin, Derrick Rose, Aquaman. You drive the bus for a little bit. What's some guys that you want to talk about or discuss?
Well, one, let's just hit on not just his promotion, which, by the way, that is an open offer. If anyone will go and send me the slides, I'll pay for your tickets. I got to have some kind of confirmation that I know I can trust you. So we'll figure that out in the interim, but I'll 100% do that. I got to figure out what game that is. I might just be able to come to town. Either way, we'll figure it out. But outside of that, how about just the good news that it sounds like he's good to go, right? They still got to get him in live action. He said, I think when I was listening to Vernon's show today and John Roser was leading the show, and he asked him if he'd be good to go. He said he can't promise 100% he's good for live basketball, but if there was any nervousness about a risk of re-injury, he wouldn't be doing it. And
Gotcha.
So it sounds like, for all intents and purposes, we are a green light on Steven Adams until told otherwise, which is awesome to hear, right? Maybe a yellow light for those who can't take the heartache. But super, super excited about that. So I just want to make sure we hit on that before we move on. The other thing I was cautiously intrigued by was Zaire Williams.
Oh,
first off, shout out to Dak Daniels 95. I appreciate you appreciating the hat. Daniel doesn't love Star Wars because he doesn't love fun. The rest of us can get behind it. But back to this so we can get that look off Daniel's face, which might just be him smelling himself after coaching the team to victory tonight. The Zaire Williams, the most confident I've ever been. I'm going to go win that spot. I personally, I've been hurt too many times, so I can't jump in until I see it.
You got
I have
scars.
to see it to believe it. I got trust issues. I could name names here, but I won't. Don't worry. All that to say, I am intrigued. We have said it 1,000 times on this show. I know I've heard it on No Bluffing. I'm sure it's been said on every Grizzlies show that's out there, of which there are many. If Zaire could get confident, his potential is, sky high, right? Amazing wing talent, but he's got to be able to get confident to where he can actually reach that potential. If that's all real, then dude, that's a godsend for the Grizzlies. Truly a godsend for the Grizzlies. I'm the president of the David Roddy fan club. But Peak of Powers Zaire and Peak of Powers David Roddy, I just don't think there's much of a comparison. If Zaire's ready to go, that'd be awesome. So we'll have to see if it's all real or not. But I think there's a reason to be cautiously optimistic as Grizzlies fans and anyone that owns Zaire rookie cards. Shout out John Roser. Anybody that's on Zaire Island. I personally don't have much stock left there. But yeah, I found that very intriguing.
All right, so let me put on my doctor's glasses on real quick. So my thinking on this whole deal is the fact that I think he had some issues last year within his knee. And so if I'm looking at this correctly, I'm thinking that there were some tendonitis issues there. And I think when you have tendonitis issues, I think you don't perform as well as you should. And I think that the tendonitis issues are gone. And I think he's worked out really hard and got that knee in a good spot. What's do you think that was more the issue?
Well, I appreciate that your doctor glasses are very clearly and exclusively blue light. So shout out to that. Also,
save my eyeballs, man.
So we talked about before, we both were athletes, collegiate athletes, and I can speak from experience that when you are injured, it actually does affect your performance in ways you don't see, right? Your body doesn't move the way
you don't bounce back as well.
Yeah. And so I had back issues and hip issues, and it truly affected me in ways I didn't even know it did at the time. That's 100% accurate. I also watched Zaire clearly not know what the hell was going on.
So do you think, okay, so my thinking with all of that real quick is I think he had issues where he couldn't perform up to his abilities, right? And then you have trust issues with yourself, like, hey, I don't trust that I'm going to be able to do this. I think that's what it came down to.
He had both physical issues last year and confidence issues. Both were clearly there. I think that the confidence issues were much more present than the physical issues. And I think that's the number one thing that needs to be fixed. And listen, he's talking a big talk. That's what you gotta talk the big talk in order for you to be confident enough to walk the big walk a lot of the time. So
I'm with it.
I'm all here for it. But yeah.
He's stamped.
The knee's not the reason that he got backdoored every time he was playing on the defensive end.
So listen, he absolutely stamped on media day that nobody has worked harder than me. Nobody, bro. When you come out,
who he's working out with, I believe him.
Who's he working out with?
I know he'd been in the gym with Desmond Bain some. He gone with Slim Spain some. Listen, he was working with guys who have worked.
I'm asking, like, who is he with? Like, I'm thinking like he's with like Donald Driver or like Ray Lewis or I don't know, Tim Tebow.
He's working with Jaron some, Spain some, Slim Spain some.
So he's out working
out. All these guys who we have seen the results of their work, right? Yeah. They're putting in work. Listen, I believe everything that he said. We just got to see what happens when he actually steps on the court.
All right. Where else you want to go next? Anybody else you want to hit
on? Not to be honest, we already hit on Bain and Kennard. Ja, Steve-O, Zaire were my big three.
Jaron was not a question in the media day. Like, he was a non-conversation, a non-factor in a sense. Like, there was nothing about him other than the FIBA rebounding.
I don't think anybody wanted to ask Jaron much because of everything, the way FIBA went down.
Yeah.
I think if FIBA had gone awesome and he'd have been a superstar at FIBA, Jaron would have been the subject of media day. But unfortunately, let's just call a spade a spade. It did not go well.
Yeah.
Like, FIBA did not go well for Jaron when they got into actual competition. You can say all you want about whether it was coaching, whether it was him, he's trying to be the main defender, how could he rebound? There's all kinds of stuff. At the end of the day, it didn't look good, right? And so I think everyone's just quietly letting Jaron continue to work, improve what he needs to improve on. Everyone knows that NBA and FIBA are very different games.
Yeah.
But when it comes to media days, like, what are you going to ask him? Like, he's the only one we saw over the summer. We didn't see anybody else. So, yeah, I'm not taking too much out of that, to be honest.
All right. So the rest of the group, real quick, is there anything else that you want to hit on? We're going to hit on the black jerseys, which I'm going to bring up because I think I don't know if you saw them or not, but anybody else that you want to hit on, because We didn't see hardly anything from Conchar, which was random, because usually he's good for something funny here and there. Junior was on, I think it was Grind City Media. He was on, and all he wanted to do is promote his Twitch channel, which was funny. And then the rest of the guys, like nobody else really came. And so I'm curious, was there anything that you felt like you wanted to hear about from the other group that was not mentioned that we mentioned so far?
Not particularly. A little bit because of what you were talking about earlier. Like, it's sort of like what you're going to hear from guys on media day, and what of it's going to be of real substance. I think the main things I wanted to hear were Ja, Steve-O, and Bane, and where their availability stood. And we got answers to all of those. And I thought all were great answers, what we wanted to hear. I'm always curious about the rookies, like Gigi Jackson. You really want to know where he's at?
He sounded like he was a 19-year-old kid at his dad's work, just like excited to see all the bells and whistles, and was just asking so many questions and had no idea about how anything worked. He honestly, he found out how the sausage was made, and he was shocked.
Yeah, no, it's and that's always fun, right? But it does tell. The only thing that tells you is like, hey, this is a kid who's a kid. Like, that should tell you a lot about what's going to happen when we get into the season. But it's always good to hear from the rookies. The one guy who I just can't get off my mind when it comes to Grizzlies basketball is Vince Williams Jr. He just is such an awesome prototype. I mean, you remember when he was coming in as a rookie, and I was like, if he could develop into like Cam Johnson, he is built to be like a Cam Johnson for this team. And when he looked in Summer League, he was possibly the most consistent wing they had in Summer League. He's knocked down his shots consistently. He used his length defensively consistently. And I'm just like, I know he's sort of the odd man out of that Laravia, Roddy, and then him wing rotation. But I'm like, if you get somebody who's just consistent off the bench, like, I love the things Roddy brings to the table. The potential of Laravia is awesome. But if Vince Williams can step on an NBA court and be consistent in the NBA, the way he was consistent in NBA Summer League, I don't know why you wouldn't want him playing, man, right? And unfortunately, they got so many wings. It's like, I don't know where you squeeze the minutes in, but he looked awesome. I was super impressed by him, and it's hard to convince me that that his skill set is something that the Grizzlies / basically every NBA team doesn't want.
Yes.
So,
everybody's in need of a 3-and-D type player.
Right. And
he's not as tall as I'd like him to be, but it is what it is. I do think he has a decent wingspan. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's, fairly long. He's a guy that doesn't intrigue me. And weirdly enough, I don't know if they're out of the exact same draft class. But I will say that Ryan Meadows, who is obviously is on the show a lot, but he's also a friend of the show. He has Free Basketball. Make sure you tune in to Free Basketball. He was high on Vince Williams Jr., very high when he was drafted, especially was he drafted or whatever he was, picked up DFA. I don't know what he was in the draft, how he's picked up by the Grizzlies, but he was high on him just because he said that out of the draft class, he felt like he had probably the most potential to be a solid rotational player on the Grizzlies. And that was when he was drafted. I think he was drafted I think he was after the guard. I'm drawing a blank on him from Tennessee.
Kennedy Chandler. Yeah,
Kennedy Chandler. Same draft, I believe. And then the other guy that is Austin Reeves out of the Lakers, he was super high on him as well. And so, listen, I'm going to give him his kudos because I liked Austin Reeves as well. I knew nothing about Vince Williams Jr., but I liked Austin Reeves. I think he was out of Oklahoma, I believe. And he was high on him, high on Vince Williams, and they both have shown the potential. So I have learned over the years to listen to Ryan about draft guys because he seems to be right more than he's wrong. But that just shows me that he has a good eye for it. But Vince Williams, I hope he figures it out. If he can, he's going to have to bulldoze his way onto the roster. But I think he has a potential because The ceiling for Jitty is only so high. The ceiling for Roddy is only so high. Zaire, there's so many questions, even though he looks like he's 6'10" now, maybe 7 foot. Jake LaRavia has so many questions. So if you can answer some of those questions, if you can be the answer, the guy who steps up, I think there's so much potential that you have, especially in this team, but especially in the first 25 games. There's an open rotational spot the first 25 games just waiting to be had outside of another rotational spot that we're looking for somebody to step up as well. So I hope he does take over and takes that spot. But either way, if he's better and still doesn't get that spot, that means he's pushed everybody else, and they've kind of all pushed each other in a competition to be the best they can be, to be ready for, I guess, to take over in that area or that spot on the team, that rotational minutes.
Yep. And I have no inside knowledge. I don't have any kind of sources, just based purely off of what I saw in preseason. I saw a guy that looked confident and consistent. And if you're a 3-and-D guy, I don't know what else you want from a player. So if he can show that in training camp and in preseason, then I would not be shocked to see him getting some minutes you expected to go to the other guys. But, we'll see. I could be completely off base. It could not translate at all. But based on what I saw there, I was like, I want to see if this goes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear the stories that are coming out of training camp and every way that these guys are taking on each other and and honestly, having fun with the competition part of it. Just so you're aware, we're going to hit on the jersey real quick. But before that, we have this show, which is almost over. Next week, we do have the 10th. Yes, 10th is the Bucks versus the Grizzlies preseason game. We will be going live at halftime. And so I wouldn't say it's going to be a super long show, but it's going to be probably as long as y'all want to go. The content is there. But I'd say, 45 minutes to an hour, whatever. You might talk through the game on the second half. But, we all like our media, people, what are they? Brevin Knight and Pete Pranica. We all like them. So we don't want to step on their toes too much as we're watching the game. We want to go live at halftime, check out some quick stuff instead of going live after the post game. And then after that, the next week, which is then the 17th, will be our last summer episode. We're going to just completely lay out the predictions that we have for this upcoming season about who we think will be the MVP of the team, who we think maybe the most improved, stuff like that. And then also we're going to look around the league. We're going to look at who is the biggest competitors in the Southwest Division, who we think actually wins the division, who we think actually wins the West, who we think wins the championship. We're going to give you a lot of our predictions. I promise you, I will get most wrong, but I'm going to give you my predictions. They're probably going to suck, but I'm going to give them to you. All right, let's go back. My
FanDuel account says I'll mess that up pretty bad.
Yeah. Let's go back in black. You saw the jerseys. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay.
It's like okay, I'll give it a thumbs up. It's like, I don't think it's as good as some of our previous city editions. I think the past 3 city editions I liked more.
What's your favorite?
Maybe 4 city editions.
Favorite.
I'm a sucker for that navy.
Dude.
I don't remember what year it was. It was the year Ja went off against San Antonio. He caught Jakob Poeltl.
I think it was one of our first ones. One of the first city edition jerseys. They were it had this stuff around the neck, right? The M.
I can't remember what year it was. Yeah, but that was the year they went up against Golden State in the playoffs. That was that year. So whatever that was, I love that jersey. I really wish they just bite the bullet and make that the Navy jersey.
Navy, yeah.
It should just be, or you make the Beale Street Blue your away jersey, and then you make that Navy your alternate. You got to work that in. It's just the best jersey, I think, all around that they've had. The Vancouver retro ones were awesome. The ones last year were awesome. I liked them all. I think the black just looks good. I just like the color black, and so I think it looks really good. I'm not a huge fan of
the
MEM.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the MEM, if I'm being honest. Just, I don't know. I don't like it, but I still think it's a good uni. That's why I'm thumbs up. I'm not going to thumbs down it. I don't dislike it. It's not our whites. I hate our whites.
Yeah, I do too.
I think our whites are bad, but yeah, it's fine. I think it's good.
I was surprised we went back into the black for the simple fact that I feel like the creative juices on whoever is designing these things wants to kind of go all over the place a little bit, right? You went navy blue, then before they had a turquoise, and you went navy blue. Then last year was the black, and I thought, you know what, we're gonna go something different, a different color. That's the only thing that I was like, that's a little, we just came from that. So I think that's the biggest thing that I was like, we kind of just had a black jersey that looked, I wouldn't say similar, but it was somewhat, similar because of the color, the main color. I do like the MEM. I'm okay with it. I like that they added in a little bit of the gold. There's a little bit of the Memphis flavor there. I like simplicity. It looks to me, and I don't know this, if you look around the league, it looks like everybody's jerseys were very simple this year. So I was curious if they said, hey, let's go with a simple style for the jerseys. That's the only thing I'm thinking of, because H-Town was Houston.
Yeah.
I think Sacramento's was something just very similar. It wasn't nothing too, awesome or whatever. I think it was just very simple, very generic. I'm curious if that was a call from the league. Everybody should go that direction. I haven't seen everybody, so I don't know. But either way, it's fine.
Like I said, thumbs up for me. I don't hate it by any means.
No,
I like it. I think we always want to be like blown away by like something that's like an awesome thing we haven't seen before. I think that's why we like the Vancouver retro. We just don't see that, right? I think it's why we like last year's. It was something completely fresh and new. And even the navy was like a completely fresh twist off of some colors Memphis had used before, whereas this is like, okay, we've seen all of this before, sort of in some shape or form, but I still think they're clean, man.
They're very
still
clean.
I like them.
I think it's all about the details. Like the details of the blue one was awesome. The details of last year's was awesome because it was like either the record, the going platinum kind of that. It meant the details of it. This one, I haven't seen the details. We don't know the details. We probably weren't even supposed to know that the jersey was leaked yet. But it was. And I just think that there's going to be more to it. I would imagine there's going to be some substance to it than just generic, just MEM. But if not, it is what it is. It reminds me so much of what's our old school black and white one that we had years ago. I think it was Conley's last year.
The old Vancouver ones?
No, it was
like when they first came to Memphis.
The sign. I'm drawing a blank. The civil rights.
Stacks Museum. Stacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes. And it was supposed to resemble that, right?
Yeah, I like those a lot too.
But that's what it reminded me. First thing I saw it, I go, oh, that is the old
Same.
school one. Yeah, that we used to have. And so, yeah, I don't know. Listen, I don't care. I'm not a jersey snob, but I will say that I wanted some substance to it. So I'm still going to hold out hope. I want a little bit of Memphis flavor to it.
I like I was looking at the pictures in your background. Maybe get some Memphis pinstripes. I don't know how you pull it off. Listen, as a former baseball guy, I'm a huge fan of all things pinstripes. I think they can be awesome. So that would be cool. But listen, I guess it's not necessarily confirmed that's the jersey. But if it is, then I like it. Like I said, it's not bad. It's not like the old the yellow ones that we had. That
God, the Memphis Tams. That one was atrocious.
Yeah.
God,
you know which ones I liked were the red ones.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. They had the curse of
like
Memphis. Those were ugly too.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to come there,
them.
I'll tell you those ones are ugly for sure. But no, this one's fine. I'm cool with it. All right. Anything else you want to hit on? Because that's all I have. We're pushing up against the 50-minute mark. So anything else you have?
Nah, man. I think Media Day was good. We heard a lot of things that I think were good news as far as player availability and what our players are allowed to do. And we got a lot of intriguing storylines out of it. So plenty of good stuff. I don't tend to take too much out of Media Day, I guess. It's just exciting that basketball's back. So pumped that we will be talking about actual basketball next week. that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Shout out Veldemeyer. I think that's got to be it. First of all, first time I've ever seen your name on here. So thank you for commenting. For one, we're idiots and we don't know that it's the Memphis Pros. Thank you, because I literally was just kind of racking my brain what it was, but it's the Memphis Pros, the old school team. Yeah. So listen, I like that they go into the old school part of Memphis, like throwing it back, but I just hate the look of the jersey because we have nothing red at all.
I don't know. I thought it was awesome.
I don't like it. But yeah, so thank you for the comment, for helping us. And as you're going to see this year, I don't know if everybody's noticed, but on Twitter, if you are a person who watches on Twitter, first of all, thank you, but we can't actually see your comments. So if you're on Twitter and you're watching it and you're wanting to comment, one, you have to be you have to get the blue check mark, right? So to be able to even write on there. And at that point, I don't think we can see what you write. So if you want to join, please join us on YouTube so we can see you. But when this actually starts in the post-game shows, this is going to be nutso this year, because I don't know if everybody sees it at the very top of the Twitter or X, whatever. I'm not calling it X, Twitter. You start seeing that where I think we're in pink now, because you can see the video watches there instead of just listening to us. So it's up there. And so we're going to have a lot of people that are going to join there. Just be patient with it in the first couple of times, because it could kind of, what do you call it? Surge. It happened a little bit the last couple of times when we first hit. But just be careful. Just make sure for whatever reason it does surge, come back. It'll be on there. But I promise you the best way to join us is on YouTube. That's where we're going to do our giveaways. And so make sure, and that's also where you can see the comments. NK, is that the only New City jersey for the season? Yeah, we're only giving one. Now, I believe they're allowed to bring one back again for special games or whatever. So I believe that they could bring another one back. I don't know if they can do another city edition, though. I think they can bring another retro one, if that makes sense.
I get so confused. They used to okay, you have the earned it jersey. Oh, you have the Christmas jersey. You have the city jersey. You have the state jersey. You have the state championship jersey. They used to have so many that honestly, I get confused. Are they earned it still a thing? I don't think they are. I don't know.
Now that was one of the Larry O's on the back, right? That was on the gold Larry O's.
I got no idea. To my understanding, it's the only one, but there could be something. It's always fun if they bring something new, but I don't know.
NK's with
I quit trying to guess that came a few years back. So hopefully they do.
You know, if you had to pick three jerseys right now, all of the Grizzlies ever that they've been here, this is random. Give me your three jerseys you would say that we could wear all the time. I don't care if they're all the same color. Three jerseys.
The City Edition Navies.
Okay.
I think I would probably want the Vancouvers.
The Teals?
Yeah. Well, no, because I would say either make that Memphis instead of Vancouver and make that your Beale Street Blue jersey, and then go with one of the black ones. I'd probably say last year's City Edition.
See, okay, so I'm on with you. Obviously, the blue, whatever that's called. We have to make that a name, because everything else
has a name. I just don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
The should be navies.
Yeah. I like the Vancouvers and I like that. Those two. I don't like. There's not another one that I love. I haven't loved the black ones.
Yeah,
I don't like the black and white ones as much. I'd probably just go honestly, the white. That's all I go with.
I want a white jersey, but I don't want that white jersey. I want a white jersey, but I don't want that white jersey. I don't know why.
It's right here, wherever, right there. It's fine. It looks
That's
good.
not what they have now. I could go with actually those white jerseys are better. I could go with that.
What do they have now?
They just have the plain Memphis. I don't know if they have any yellow at all in them. Anyways.
All right, so the 3-6 Mafia jersey was kind of awful from Veldemeyer. So have you seen that one? I
didn't like it until I saw it.
They look like grizzly bears, I believe, right?
What are you talking about?
The 3-6 Mafia jersey.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so you explain to me what the 3-6 Mafia jersey then.
I thought he was just talking about last year's City edition. I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, I don't know. Valdemar, what are you talking about? I'm thinking of, so I saw a jersey that has the Bears, and it's supposed to represent 3-6 Mafia.
I don't know. If he's talking about last year's jersey, I like last year's jersey. After I saw it in person, I really liked it. But seeing it on the internet,
all right, so I have it. All right, let me pull it up. Okay. I'm gonna try to share the screen. We're off the radars, and I'm okay. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That was never a real jersey, was it?
No, it wasn't a real jersey. He was probably saying that he saw it somewhere, or he, she. I'm not sure.
To be honest, I don't hate it. If I'm being honest, so we'll just have to agree to disagree, no matter what direction you're taking.
That's because it's the old school, like Vancouver style looking jersey.
Yeah, I don't hate it, if I'm being completely honest, but that's exactly why. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I could see why someone would hate it, but I'm just a sucker for the old Vancouver Grizzlies style stuff. I wish they'd change it to Memphis instead of Vancouver every time they did it, but it's okay. I got some friends in Vancouver that miss the Grizz, so we'll let them have it.
All right, so that's all we have. I'm glad we got off a little bit of our normal shtick. Let's just have a little more fun. I can't wait for post-game shows. We have a little bit up our sleeve that we're going to reveal probably night one. We're probably not going to share too much about what we have going on. The show's not going to change much for the simple fact that we're going to have different people on different spots. But we're going to be here for every single game, all 82. We're not going to miss one unless there's completely internet outage somewhere and we just cannot get up onto the internet somehow. But outside of that, we will be here each and every game. Somebody will, at least, for Grizz 901. So we'll be your post-game stop. So as soon as the buzzer sounds, we'll be able to turn it on here, and we'll make sure that we're bringing up. So I'm excited about everything else. Valdemar still talking about D Rose back in his natural habitat. Yeah, the Tigers and the Grizzlies. We are excited about that. Awesome. If you missed it, go back to I think that was one of the first things we talked about when we started talking about the players was Derrick Rose. So stop and go back after the show. But yeah, I'm excited about getting back to normal post-game shows. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to try some different things. I hear that Thirsty Thursday might be on the docket this year. We have six Thursday games this year. That's it. And so Nate will be on here with me every Thursday. So he has a little bit up his sleeve about Thirsty Thursdays. And so, like I said, we're going to have fun because we're going to try to keep it light. We're going to try to keep it different. We're going to give you our honest takes, but we're also going to have some fun. And so that's the main thing we're going to do. It will be more than just this because I feel like what we do is just sit around and just talk. Listen, we're going to talk about the game. We might even make fun of people, but not too bad. But anything else you have?
We might make fun of people.
Okay.
Nah, man, let's get out of here. My back hurts. I'm hungry. Let's get to going.
All right, that's it. All right, everybody have a good night. Make sure you be nice. And what do we always say? Tell your friends.